Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a story that sits right on the razor's edge between hard historical fact and modern supernatural legend. We're going to be cracking open one of the most infamous texts in human history. We're talking about an ancient manuscript that has survived for centuries. It's a book that literally carries whispers of forbidden knowledge, and the modern encounter we're going to look at, it will absolutely send chills down your spine. Let's explore exactly what this text is, where it came from, and why, honestly, it commands such immense fear and respect even today.
So, picture this. The year is 2008, and we're in Egypt. It's late at night, and the rest of the world is just totally quiet, right? But there's this young Egyptian guy who is wide awake. He's sitting alone in his house, completely poring over this very specific, highly unusual book. A book he had actually relentlessly begged to borrow from a close friend. He's flipping through the pages, just totally absorbed in the ancient, esoteric secrets written inside. The atmosphere is dense, the night is completely still. Until, suddenly, that silence is broken.
There's a sudden, sharp knock at the door. Now, it is the middle of the night. Who could possibly be visiting at this hour? The young man is terrified, as you would be, but he creeps up to the door and slowly opens it. And standing right there on his doorstep is an old man. Now, the source material describes him vividly. Stark white hair, a face just deeply lined with wrinkles, and an incredibly overwhelming presence. And in this heavy, commanding voice, the old man delivers a single, chilling demand. Stop reading the book.
That right there is what we're calling the midnight knock. The boy is absolutely horrified. He slams the door shut, locks himself inside, and just stays frozen in fear. Now, let's hit pause on this supernatural encounter for just a second, because to really understand what this guy experienced and why some mysterious old man appeared out of literally nowhere in the dead of night to deliver this warning, we've got to look at what exactly he was reading. Like, what could possibly be printed on those pages to provoke such a terrifying real-world response?
Well, the book he was holding is known as the Shams al-Maarif, which translates to the Son of Knowledge. Now, this isn't just any old dusty book. We are talking about a legendary 13th century manual. It was originally penned by an Algerian Sufi writer named Ahmad al-Buni. According to the text itself, this manual is just packed with magical secrets, esoteric recipes, and really specific methods reportedly used to contact jinns, which are supernatural entities in Islamic theology. It's widely considered one of the most infamous texts ever written.
The Son of Knowledge. It has this almost mythological status, right? But what makes this story so uniquely compelling is that this isn't just a myth. It's a very real, tangible artifact with a documented history. This text has survived empires, wars, and centuries of human history. It has left a deep, physical footprint on the world. So, to understand how a copy ended up in the hands of a young guy in Egypt in 2008, we really need to trace its incredible historical journey. Just look at the sheer span of time we're dealing with here. Way back in 1225, the original author, Sufi Ahmad al-Buni, passes away. Over the centuries, his manual evolves. Things are added by other writers, things are removed, the text basically shifts and morphs over time. Then, leap forward to July 25, 1868. On this exact date, the most original, authentic manuscript of the text is discovered in Marrakech, Morocco. And here's the really fascinating connection. That exact 1868 Marrakech manuscript, that is the very copy that the boy's friend ultimately inherited. It's this direct physical bridge from the 19th century right into the year 2008.
And here's a pretty fascinating detail about the physical book itself. The number 3. See, when Ahmad al-Buni originally compiled his work, it was massive. We're talking 3 enormous, comprehensive volumes. But as we know, history has a way of eroding things. Out of those original 3 volumes, only one single volume survives today. And that single surviving volume is the one carrying the heavy legacy of the Shams al-Marif.
So what is actually written inside this sole surviving volume? What exactly survived the test of time, only to end up in that young man's hands in Egypt? Let's step inside the forbidden pages for a second to see exactly why this book carries such an intense reputation.
Al-Buni packed this thing with deep explorations into Sufism. He included incredibly complex instructions for creating talismans. There are these bizarre, highly intricate magic squares, deep dives into the esoteric secrets of numerology and letters, and some really complicated astrological calculations based on the moon and stars. But the absolute most critical component, the part that essentially drives our entire story today, is that final point, the forbidden names. The book contains certain names that, according to the text, are simply not meant to be spoken aloud. Period. Okay, let's flash back for just a moment to right before the 2008 encounter. The boy's friend originally flat out refused to lend him the book. He'd actually had his own unsettling experiences with it. But when he finally caved to the boy's endless begging, he added a secret safeguard. Before handing it over, he carefully tore out pages 11 through 15, hid them securely under his pillow, and then gave the altered book to his friend. He really thought he was protecting him.
But as the story goes, you can't easily contain what's written in the Sun of Knowledge. So let's bring our narrative right back to that climax in 2008. The boy had just experienced that terrifying midnight knock, right? He's locked himself in his house, completely shaking with fear. But you know, human curiosity is a powerful, powerful thing. The very next day, despite the old man's terrifying warning, the boy is drawn right back to the manuscript. He opens the book up and begins to read again.
And that is when the true psychological horror really kicks in. According to the account, the old man with the white hair didn't just stay on the doorstep. The boy starts seeing this wrinkled old man literally everywhere he goes. He sees him standing in crowded local markets. He spots him waiting at the end of empty streets. The presence of this entity just becomes inescapable. Pushed to the absolute brink of panic, the boy finally runs to his friend and confesses everything that's been happening since he first opened the book.
When the boy tells him about this old man, the friend realizes something is terribly, terribly wrong. He sprints to his bedroom, lifts his pillow, fully expecting to see the torn pages he hid there. But the space under the pillow? It is completely empty. No pages. So he rushes over to the borrowed book and flips it open. And right there, sitting perfectly seamlessly in the spine of the book, are pages 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. They are completely reattached, as if they had never been torn out in the first place. No way, right?
The friend looks at the terrified boy and delivers this really chilling conclusion. You see, those specific pages, the ones he tried so hard to hide, contained the forbidden names of the jinns. The friend explains that according to the lore of the book, merely reading these names out loud is enough to summon the entities attached to them. By unknowingly reading those specific, impossibly returned pages, the boy had disturbed a jinn, and that entity manifested as the old man with the white hair, crossing into the physical world for one singular purpose, to tell the boy to stop reading the book.
It's a story that perfectly captures exactly why ancient esoteric texts still carry such an immense, heavy psychological weight even today. Whether you view this as an incredible piece of folklore, a psychological manifestation of extreme fear, or something truly unexplainable, the Shams al-Ma'arif just commands this unique respect. It is a massive testament to the power of words and our enduring human fear of the unknown. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Knowing its history, knowing the legends, and knowing exactly what might be written on pages 11 through 15, if you found the Sun of Knowledge sitting on a table in front of you right now, would you open it? Something to think about. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating text with me today. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.